Hi, my name is Genevieve, and the person I received for my presentation was Johann Wolfgang von Goethe. It was kind of hard finding information on him as this was so long ago in like 1700s, but I managed to find enough. So, Johann Wolfgang von Goethe was born August 28, 1749 in Frankfurt, which is in Germany, and died on March 22, 1832. So he died at the age of 83, which is really impressive for back then, as most people passed at 50 to 60, most of the time 40. He was declared a poet, a playwright, a novelist, a scientist, a statesman, a theater director, a critic, and an amateur artist. He wanted to achieve a lot in his life as he felt like not doing enough wasn't good enough. He was considered very high class and had a lot of opportunities. Despite being raised high class and being considered high class throughout his entire life, he didn't care much for money. He wanted to pursue what he wanted to do in life rather than gain more money. As he was born into a rich family, so he felt he could do whatever he wanted to. Goethe went to college for law and arts at Leipzig, a university in Germany. Then, in college, he started writing plays. His first play was a biblical play. However, after peer review, he was dramatic and burned the papers because his taste was, quote-unquote, more advanced now due to college. After burning his biblical play, he then went with a dramatic approach and wrote an erotic play labeled Die Lohn des Verliebten, aka The Lover's Spleen. He was very dramatic and wrote his next play about a woman who had rejected him and made it a comedy about her marrying the wrong man. After a few years of being at college, he ended up never getting a degree from college, as he got sick of tuberculosis. He then decided to study alchemy with his free time, which people believe this led him to write his infamous play, Faust. He took a dramatic approach because he felt like he wanted to achieve a lot in life. During his time in college, he focused on mainly writing poetry. He won a lot of awards for his poetry, and he ended up writing a few love poems about a woman named Anne, where very discreetly the poems were labeled Antoinette as to not raise suspicion towards her. While writing these poems, he wrote The Sorrows of Young Werther, which is a really infamous autobiography type poem. After dropping out of college and also after studying alchemy with his free time, he opened a small law firm, which was mainly influenced by his father, as he was really interested in law and wanted his son to pursue law. He ended up writing more plays. Some of the plays that Goethe created were Faust, Faust II, The Sorrows of Young Werther, the Leipzig Songbook, and the Torquato Tasso, Clavigo, and The Natural Daughter. He has many more, but these are some of his more famous ones. Goethe was born during the Age of Enlightenment, which was really important during this time in Germany. There was a huge urban culture decline, which didn't really affect him. This was a very religious era he aligned himself with. He was not affected by much of the hardship around him. He was born to Johann Caspar Goethe and Catherine Elizabeth Goethe. He had 4 siblings, but only a sister survived. And a fun fact is that he learned how to speak Greek, Latin, French, and Italian, as well as, of course, his home language, German. He ended up learning writing, fencing, and dancing, which was proof of his very rich lifestyle. Anyone who has researched Goethe considers him to be a very outstanding literary figure. He is the only German literary figure whose range and international standing equal those of Germany's supreme philosophers. Many famous composers have set his works to music, and since the end of the 18th century, his works have been described as classical. Many researchers say that he is the central and unsurpassed representative of the Romantic movement, which is a very large statement to say, as there is very many other writers who have done very good plays, but most people unanimously agree that he was the best person. Goethe married a lot of people and divorced a lot of people. He was somewhat of a man whore, and at the age of 72, he fell in love with a 17-year-old at the time, and he wanted to marry her, but because of his opposition to her mother, he never proposed. After that, he moved on to a Polish pianist, which was 33 at the time, and ended up falling in love with her. Goethe died of a apparent heart failure, and his last words, according to his doctor, were "mehr Licht," which means more light. But as disputed as Vogel was not in the room in the moment Goethe died. He is buried in Ducal Vault at Weimar's Historical Cemetery. Overall, Goethe was a very fun person to research. I feel like he had a very exciting life and was very important in history. He was a very interesting person. He felt like I felt like he could never settle on anything. And with women, like he fell in love with so many, married so many, divorced so many, and even disgustingly liked younger women. But I still feel like he was a very sassy and dramatic man, and he just wanted to be the most and do the most, which was really interesting to study.